I wanna be like you. I wanna be like you. I wanna be like you. I wanna be like you, you. Now is the time to seize the day. I've got nothing if I ain't got Santa Fe. Stare down the aisles and seize the day. Look at me, I'm the king in New York. Ba-na-na-ba-na. You're probably wondering, what's up with the Newsies hat? What's up with the Newsies songs? Well, today, we have the Newsie. We have a Newsie on I Wanna Be Like You. Welcome to another episode of I Wanna Be Like You. Today, we have Spot Conlon, the Brooklyn Newsie, who's actually from Staten Island. We have Tommy Bracco on the podcast today. I'm so grateful to have Tommy on. I've known Tommy since I was 10 years old, and Tommy's always been the greatest. Tommy was in the original Broadway cast of Newsies, the original Broadway cast of Pretty Woman, the original Broadway cast of The Heart of Rock and Roll. He was just in Titanique. He's done so much work elsewhere as well, and you also know him from Big Brother, baby. I've always looked up to Tommy, and he has always been a friend, a teacher, a mentor, choreographer, and the kindest person who brings the best energy into every single room and brought the best energy to our podcast. So I'm seriously so blessed and grateful to have Tommy Bracco on the pod. Today, I want to be like Tommy Bracco. We're here with Tommy Bracco. Today, I want to be like Tommy Bracco. Okay, welcome, Tommy. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Elbi, I'm flattered to be here. I'm flattered that you asked me. I'm always so honored and humbled to connect with you because I don't know, you're the real deal. You're so ambitious, you're a fighter, you're driven, you're talented, and you're kind. And
that's really sweet. Thank you.
You deserve all good things.
That's very sweet.
I mean, look at this. You built your own podcast studio in your home. This is so impressive. And I'm just very honored to connect with you and do this.
Thank you. I feel the same way about you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I
want to be like you.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I start every podcast the same way, which is, who is your I want to be like you when you were a kid?
When I was a kid?
Yeah, when you were a kid. So it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be your parents. It could be something.
You know, this is a deep cut. I don't know if you're going to... Omni Katz?
No.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I expected that. Omni Katz was the star of Erie, Indiana, and the Casper movie.
Oh,
the boy
okay.
with the
Sure. Yeah, Casper. I know Casper.
Loved him. Obsessed. Max
Omni
Dennison.
Katz.
Obsessed. His name's Omni Katz. I wanted to be like him when I was a
Really?
kid.
Oh, wow.
When I grew up, Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, Nathan Lane. Yeah, you're very Nathan Lane type.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
That's
much.
very sweet. I love that. Hold on. I have to pause right here because I cannot let this episode go on without mentioning that less than 24 hours after we recorded this episode, Tommy got a call saying that he booked SNL 50 with Nathan Lane. He was in a room doing a parody of Hakuna Matata with Nathan Lane. Check it out.
It's a power mix that shrinks your dinks.
So all I'm saying is, for future guests of I Want to Be Like You, if you want to book something, we manifest on this pod. You come, sit down, have a chat with me. We'll ask you questions. It'll be easy, but you get to book a huge job with potentially your I Want to Be Like You. That's going to be my pitch from now on. All right, back to the episode. Let's talk about this. So I first met Tommy. I was 10 years old.
Yep.
And I just turned 10. It was my birthday. Around my birthday time, and Tommy came in to do a master class to SICTA, Staten Island Children's Theater, because Tommy did Staten Island Children's Theater, and you were in Newsies at the time, because
yes.
it was 2012, I think, or 13, yep. And did like this like Q&A masterclass thing. I'd never experienced anything like it before. And you were talking about like, I mean, I was auditioning at the time through like an agent that I had as a kid, but you were talking about Playbill and my mind is like exploding watching you. I didn't know anything about Newsies. I don't think I had seen a Broadway show at the time. Like,
Yeah, you
I
were
was just,
young.
like,
You were a kid
It was
still.
my first musical.
Yeah.
Like, my first time ever part of anything like that. And it was just, it was really, really cool though to see. And I didn't even connect the dots because then you came back to SICTA in 2015 and I didn't realize it was the same person. I didn't
That's
realize it was,
so
yeah,
funny.
I had no idea. But yeah, and I went to like look you up and all this other stuff and I was looked up Newsies and I was like, oh my gosh, like my brain was exploding and I kind of fell in love with your whole message, everything.
Thanks, Elbi. Thanks.
So what was your first Broadway show?
The first Broadway show that I saw
Yeah.
was Beauty and the Beast. I saw it
Oh, wow.
when I was a kid. I was dancing in the aisles.
Yeah.
And people around my parents were getting annoyed and frustrated because I was
How old were you?
literally
Yeah, I was gonna
dancing
say,
in
you
the
were probably
aisles.
really
You don't
little,
do that
right?
at a Broadway show.
Yeah.
I was very little. Probably like 8, maybe around there, 7
Wow.
or 8. Maybe younger.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I don't remember it, but that's the story
Yeah,
that's
right.
told.
Dancing in the aisles.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that made you like want to do theater when you were a kid? Like, I have this thing that I said, like, how did we get to be here? Like, what was that?
Well,
for you?
funny enough, I didn't know that I wanted to be here until I went to LaGuardia High School, which
Right.
is the Fame School.
Right.
It was great.
The Fame
And
School.
my teachers there gave me the courage to become a performer. That wasn't the plan. The plan was
Oh,
to
really?
become an architect.
Is that right? Architect.
Yeah. Up until my senior year of high school, I was
Is that
going to
what-
be an architect.
Why architect? Is that what your dad?
I love designing things. I loved The Sims. It's so stupid, but I was like, building houses, designing houses,
Yeah,
sign
right.
me up. Like, I was very into it.
Yeah.
The only problem was I was the worst student in the world. Like,
Yeah, me
I
too.
spent more classes absent than I did present. Like, I
Sure,
didn't go to school.
No,
My
me
grades
too.
were low,
Yeah.
but yet I wanted to be an architect. You got to be very smart for an architect. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, so I'm in a high school year. I wind up doing the senior play or the school play.
Yeah.
They do an annual show at
But you had to get
LaGuardia.
into LaGuardia, didn't you?
Yes. So before that, I was just doing drama recreationally, like just
Okay.
for fun in junior high school. And
Okay, gotcha.
my teacher there, it's funny. Like, I do think that when you're meant to do something, it will find a way. It will
Right.
it will fall into your lap somehow. It will
Yeah.
the path will become clear for you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. I didn't grow up loving theater.
Okay. But I don't think I didn't either.
Yeah. I think that's normal.
It kinda-
So it's a lot. Everyone's got a different story. But
Yeah.
for me, I liked it. But I just didn't ever think it was really actually attainable.
Right.
So I didn't envision myself doing it. I also didn't have any examples. Like,
Right.
I didn't take master classes
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
Like,
right.
yes, I did SICTA, but it was a different time. Like, it
Yeah.
was.
You were much younger, right?
I was much younger, and we kept
Weren't
everything
you
in house
Were you
at
the
that
magic
time.
carpet in Aladdin? Is that a thing? No.
I did Beauty and the Beast, the tour. I wound up. That was my first professional job. Then
Okay.
afterwards,
Okay,
I went
okay.
back. Even though Beauty and the Beast was the first show I saw,
Yeah.
then it was the first show I did. I did it
Wow.
on tour where I played the tumbling carpet. So maybe that's what you're
Oh,
thinking.
okay. That's probably what I'm thinking of. That's
Yeah.
probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're here to just talk about the journey and stuff. Like, if
Yeah.
I actually, first of all, we'd be here for days if I like took you through the whole journey. But it is fascinating to see how one thing leads to the other. I've been doing this now since I'm 18 years old, and I'm 34 now. So that is what, 26 years or 16 years rather?
16 years.
16 years. That's a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
So there are countless stories of how one
Yeah.
thing led to the other, and
Sure.
it is amazing because.
But you were always dancing, right? That was always since you were a
Yeah,
kid.
I grew up dancing at a local dance studio, Starstruck Dance Studio, the
Yes.
best,
Yes,
obsessed.
starstruck.
They're amazing,
Yeah.
and I got all my
Home of
training
the Struck
there.
Boys.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's how I knew them.
Yeah.
because they were on America's Got Talent.
Yes,
they
they
were. The
were.
Struck Boys. you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I grew up dancing there. Amazing competitive
How
dance
old were you
studio.
when you started dancing?
14.
Oh, 14.
Yeah.
Oh, but even that's like high school age.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were much younger. And tumbling too. You started at that.
I started a little bit younger, but when I was taking one class a week for 2 years prior to that.
Wow.
But then once I hit 14, I
14.
dove
What a
in.
late bloomer.
I dove in. No, but
Well,
really, you're right.
comparatively, right?
Yeah,
Comparatively,
isn't
yeah.
it crazy that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is a late bloomer though? But then we had some boys.
I'm
in
like, what were you
Newsies.
doing the whole first 14 years?
I know. I was just hanging out. I don't even know. But I was doing shows, but it was just for fun.
But it's
It
different. It's
wasn't
the
like
same.
I wanted to do it for real.
Right.
But yeah, some boys in Newsies didn't start dancing till they were in college.
That's
So
pretty
everyone's got a
amazing.
different path. There's
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason how to do it. To go to college, to not go to college, to start dancing late, to start dancing early. It can be done at any point if you're willing to fight for it and work hard enough. But there's no like correct way to get to.
So
Broadway
when
or
you went
whatever.
to LaGuardia, did you audition for dance or for a drama? Or
Drama.
For drama, really? And were you in that department?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. I just assumed that you were in the dance.
Yeah,
department.
no, I was still dancing outside of school, but I did competition dance. It was different than what was done at LaGuardia. LaGuardia was very ballet and modern based.
Okay.
And,
Did you
at,
tap?
no.
Do you tap now?
I mean, I can get by, but it's rough. Funny story, I almost didn't get Newsies because there was a tap number in the show.
Right.
So when we first started, this is, all right.
No, do it.
I don't
do
know
it.
what these questions
no,
are,
do
but
it, do it.
I'm going to go
They're
into
just
a
talking
story.
points. No,
'cause
do
this is
it.
a crazy
I want you
story.
to.
I did peek over. I saw equity card stand out there. So
yeah,
I don't know what the question was, but this connects
You
to
ride.
that.
Yeah, you drive.
All right. So I am at this point 20 years old, and I'm auditioning every single day, just like you.
Yeah.
Literally, like going to call after call, probably like 4 auditions a week, realistically. And I'm doing well. I'm booking work. It's good. It's all non-union work, but it's okay. That's how you pay your dues. That was my journey. I was happy to do it. I didn't go to college, so I say that like my 4 years of working non-union were my college years.
Yeah.
Essentially, it was my
Amazing.
training. And even if you go to college, you could still. It doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
But so I am auditioning, and I got 2 offers to take my equity card. And something about both of those opportunities, something in me just said, don't do it. Not yet. You're not ready. You want to like just keep getting those equity points, because at the time it was EMC points.
EMC points, yeah.
So I
You
was
have to
like,
get,
just
50
keep,
or something,
yeah,
25,
just keep
something
getting
like
these points. The right thing will come along, because there were pros and cons to being in the union at that time.
Right.
I don't know if it's
Still
the same
are.
way.
No, there still
Yeah.
are pros, many cons. Yeah.
Like they're looking, they could pay you cheaper if you're non-union. So they want more people that are
Right.
talented, but they don't have to pay as much. So
Right.
I was happy to be in that role for
that time.
for those first few years.
Right.
I got offered it when I was supposed to do Peter Pan. I didn't wind up doing it, but I got offered my card. Then I was supposed to do, I did do Guys and Dolls. I got offered my card. I turned it down.
Wow.
I booked Newsies at Paper Mill Playhouse only because I was non-union. If
Wow.
I would have
because
taken
they only
my
had
card,
a certain amount of exactly. Yep.
they had X amount of equity contracts and X amount of non-union contracts, and there were so many boys.
And that's
that
still the
were-
case. I mean, that's still the
Yeah.
case at Paper Mill. Yeah,
Yeah.
and many other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I followed my gut, and I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't have gotten Newsies,
That's
and that's what
crazy.
got me on the map. So now when we first tried out for Newsies at Paper Mill, they only made us do a little time step in the audition. There was no tap
Oh,
number.
really? Wow.
So I auditioned. I did a quick little time step. I was good to go.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
they added a whole tap number.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, shit. Well,
Yeah.
can I curse? It's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, you can curse.
all
You can
right,
curse.
okay.
Yeah, you can curse,
So I
yeah.
was panicking because I'm like, oh my God, I don't tap. Sure enough, we finished the run at Paper Mill. We do the Thanksgiving Day parade. It's all hush hush. There's a lot of buzz. Is it going to Broadway? And we get the word that it is. We don't know if we're going with it. Now some of my friends start getting calls
Because that
they're
happens
going.
pretty often that they swipe out the cast. or
They
do
didn't
something
take
different.
everybody. Yeah,
Wow.
they didn't take
Yeah.
a lot of people. I'm trying to think who was non-union that wound up going. If any, I don't even know, but I think I was the only non-union person to
Right.
move forward with the production.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about that though, so don't quote me.
Sure.
But anyway, I did get a phone call from the assistant choreographer, the best, Lou Castro. He's literally incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But he called me and he said, "Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. That we need the cream of the crop. You got to be able to tap. So like, I don't want you to just be able to do this
Phone it
tap
in.
number and phone it in. You need to be in class every single day and learn how to tap. And so that way, when you go to auditions in New York City, they know that you are
can make do.
you can
Yeah.
you can do this." Because he said they were very like, there was a lot of pressure on being a newsie. They wanted when you left that production, they wanted you to represent something great, something big.
Right.
And so it was very important to them that I didn't leave, that I wasn't a phony, because they even, they just wanted everybody to leave that production.
They got their wish. I mean, the Newsies are like the Newsies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's like especially if you're in the original Newsies, like it's like such a thing.
Yeah, they wanted to hire an elite group of dancers. So I was honored that they still move forward with me. I got my butt in tap class every single day. At that point of my life, I was very confident going to tap calls. I don't have the tap foundation. That's the truth.
No.
Not so much anymore.
No, but that's pretty amazing.
I did work very hard for it for those years, and I felt very confident. I was in tap class 3 times a week, traveling from Staten Island, just like making it work, learning, and so
that's amazing. That's incredible. And that's how you booked Newsies.
That's how I booked Newsies.
So did you audition for? This is actually another question that I had, because in terms of talking about equity card and that, but also like, did you have an agent at the time?
Yes, I was with MSA.
Oh, you were?
Dance agency. So good. Love them.
When did you get them? Did you get them out
of
of LaGuardia? Or?
No, how did I get them? I might have got them through my cousin, because my 2 cousins were dancers also. They were both ridiculously talented, but the 3 of us, it was like a family thing. It was my cousin Serena, she actually was in Matilda on Broadway. She played Lavender.
Oh,
she was in the closing cast.
Wow.
So she was with MSA, and my cousin Nicolette, who's been on a billion TV shows. She was on Lip Sync Battle. She was a regular dancer on that. She was in Hit the Floor. It was a VH1 show.
Wow.
So we were a family of dancers, and the 3 of us were with MSA. I forget how I got on board with them, but
but do you remember how
they
old
were great.
You were?
Yeah, I was 18 to like 23, something like that.
Wow.
And then my best friend Debbie from high school, we were in LaGuardia together. We were both in the drama department, and we were bad. We were bad kids. Like all the teachers, we were in the same class together only freshman year, and then all the teachers had to separate us afterwards because we were so bad.
Yeah.
She is like my best friend, and still to this day, she's an agent. So it was so cool because we grew up doing this together, and we're still doing it together.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
So, so I wound up working with her instead of MSA down the line.
Gotcha.
Plus, I moved out of dance, so I moved more into playing characters and stuff. So that's why I wanted to work with Debbie. So, but MSA is incredible. I love them. They were my first agency.
And you're still with Debbie now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
That's
I'm very
awesome.
lucky.
I love that. Yeah. And Newsies was your Broadway debut.
Yep.
Talk to me about, how old were you?
I booked the show on my we started rehearsals the day after my 21st birthday. Yeah.
And so you're 21 going to make your Broadway debut. Talk about there's like a culture shock, no? There's like there's like such a big, especially in that show. That was a Disney on Broadway show.
It was
that was
so
a movie
exciting.
first. It was a new Alan Menken show. I mean, like there's so much new.
Yeah.
There's so much buzz.
Yeah, and the crazy part was there were no expectations. Like
really,
a lot of times, think about what's like a show like Boop is coming out on Broadway.
I just bought my tickets today.
Oh, amazing!
March.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Yeah,
but the thing about Boop is, and most Broadway shows, they do their out of town tryout, and you know that they're trying to move to Broadway. Like the goal is they're probably going to be going to Broadway.
Right.
With Newsies, it wasn't the same. Like it kind of came out of nowhere. They're like, we're doing an out of town tryout, but the only reason why it came to Broadway was because people, when it opened up at Paper Mill Playhouse, people were flying from all over the world to see this production that was running in Millburn, New Jersey for 3 weeks.
Right.
So when Disney saw how in demand the show was, sold out every single night, standing ovations multiple times during the show, every single performance, it was wild.
Huge. Yeah.
The fans forced Disney to bring Newsies to Broadway. It was never the plan.
Wow.
That's why it was not just the buzz, it was like sitting on the edge of your seat because you're like, what is this going to be? What is this turning into? Like, is there something bigger is this going to become something bigger?
Yeah.
And it just kept growing. It literally started off like a little snowball rolling down the hill, and then it just picked up speed and got bigger and bigger and bigger. So then they're like, we did, what's it called? The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And we're like, oh, that's amazing. Like something, they might be trying to do
coming.
something
Yeah,
with this.
yeah.
But still, no announcement. Then
Right.
finally, I get called. They're like, "You're gonna announce that we're going to Broadway on The View." Then
Oh
I don't even.
gosh.
I got to do that. Newsies is going to Broadway on The View. Amazing. Then I didn't even know if I was going with the production because I don't tap. So there was that whole drama. So I was on the edge of my seat. Then
That is so
we
crazy.
opened on Broadway, and it was supposed to be for a strict 101 performances. They extend through the summer because
It was
we
a
were
limited
sold out.
engagement when you guys opened on Broadway. I didn't know that.
The reason why, so with Newsies, the goal was to open it up and then license it out
License
to
it
schools.
and
They thought they would make their money back that way. They thought that was the smartest thing, but I mean,
It's
again,
arguably their most successful.
Yes,
Disney's most
some would
successful
say,
still.
yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, then we did limited engagement, 101 performances. They extended it through the summer. Still sold out every single night. So then they extended it and made it open-ended.
Oh my gosh.
We closed 2.5 years later.
and you were in the run the whole time.
I got hurt a couple of times, so I was out of the show for like 2 months twice.
Yeah.
But I opened and closed the show.
Wow.
Then when we closed, we were still selling above 90% when we closed. Like
So
there
how
was
come you
no
guys closed?
reason for us to close. We were literally still making so much money. It was not about that. Aladdin was coming in. There was just so much
Okay.
going on.
Yeah.
Again, their intention was never to
Right.
have the show be a hit on Broadway. The goal was to, they didn't need that.
Right.
There's other things going on that they wanted to focus on.
Yeah.
Then they did the movie. Like it literally just one thing
And the
led
tour
to
too,
another.
right?
The
There's a
tour.
yeah.
One thing led to another. It was never the plan.
Right.
And so it was, the buzz, yes.
And
But it was more about like the way that the Newsies. I could go on and on about
No,
this.
no,
I
do it,
also
do it,
haven't
do it.
spoken about this in so long.
I was gonna say, I'm
honestly.
sure that
I'm like getting
if the
excited.
Newsies fan, I was gonna say, like, this is like it's a huge thing not only for you but
Yeah.
also for like everyone.
It was amazing. But so I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah. So in the show Newsies, the Newsies are fighting for like a place at the table and
Right, right.
fighting for what they believe in.
Right.
And we felt like us as people were fighting for a
To
seat
be
at the
there as
table,
well,
to be
yeah.
on Broadway, to
Yeah.
make our dreams come true.
And I'm sure like how
every
many
night
of
was
you
a
were debuted?
fight.
A lot of you were probably debuts.
Oh yeah,
right?
I think there was 16 debuts, something like that. It was
Wow.
a crazy amount of
Wow.
debuts.
I mean, even when I think about somebody like Jeremy or Kara,
Yeah.
like, they had. But this
Kara's
was a huge thing.
debut.
It was Kara's debut. She became a star after
Yep.
that. Like Jeremy became a star. That was his. That's what put him on the map. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's not like you guys had big names that were already attached. Alan Menken was probably the big thing that was, and he he won the Tony, I think, for that show.
Yeah, we won the Tony for best music and best choreography, which makes up a Broadway show. The music, and the singing, and the
Yeah, right,
dancing.
right.
But yet we didn't win best musical.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah,
Stupid
right.
once.
That's right. Once beat Newsies.
So ridiculous.
Once.
Come on.
But what's it called? What about the Tonys? You guys did the performance.
Yeah,
like,
we
that's
did
a
the
huge thing.
Tonys. Like that was insane too. It was
and-
crazy. We did the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade for a second time. We did what else? We did Dancing with the Stars, Good Morning America,
Oh gosh.
The View. We did
It's just
again
like a
as
super
a group.
formative experience.
It was nuts. It was truly. We danced at the White House
Oh
for
my
the
gosh.
president.
That's
Like
crazy.
it was nuts.
That's awesome.
I was in a dressing room with freaking Fifth Harmony. I was bugging out. I was freaking out. I have a picture with Camila Cabello. It was the
Oh my
background of my
gosh.
phone for
That's so
literally
funny.
years, like 10 years. Me and
That's
Camila
so
Cabello
funny.
on my phone.
That's
I met
awesome.
Connie Britton. I was so excited about that. I love Connie
Britton.
Britton.
That's funny. Newsies, you make your Broadway debut. It's a huge deal. Newsies closes, and it's so funny because, and I was talking about this with Michelle a little bit. For a lot of people, my generation, my time right now, you look at it and you're like, well, all I need is Broadway. And once I get Broadway has, holds the answers to all of these questions.
Yeah.
And then once you get it, and then your show closes, and you go like, well, what do I do?
What
so
now?
what do you do?
I didn't work for 3 years. I mean, I did, but like not a consistent job. It was
Sure.
all regional gigs that were great. I had
And so do you just
amazing
go back to hitting
times.
the pavement? Like that's what you were?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I was teaching at LaGuardia. That
Oh.
was my survival gig. It was
Oh,
great.
actually, I know this because
Mm-hmm.
I was at a party at the Copacabana with, this sounds like a crazier story than it is, but I was at a party at the Copacabana and Michaela Diamond was there.
Yes.
And I went, it was when she had just won the Theater World Award for Cher.
amazing.
And so I came up to her and just to tell her, I was like, oh man, you're so great in Cher, blah, blah. And we got to talking and then we wound up talking about you because Because she was
yeah.
in Beauty and the Beast there.
Yeah, she
was
was.
Mrs. Potts.
Yeah, she was amazing.
And you choreographed that production.
Yeah, I co-choreographed it with oh my gosh, his name's escaping me now, but it's the resident dance teacher. He's amazing. So Mr. Smith, that was his name. So Joey Smith, yeah.
Wow.
So I was his associate, and Michaela was in that production. Lorna Courtney was Belle.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I did not know
Tomas Matos was Lumiere.
Oh
it was amazing. It was
crazy.
like a star-studded cast.
Yeah, right.
And like little old me, like just teaching.
Imagine a production
these
of Beauty and the
stars.
Beast now
No, it was
with Michaela Diamond
crazy.
and Lorna Courtney.
No, it was sick. Yeah, it was actually.
that's crazy.
It was sickening. It was insane how talented.
And so
they were.
you taught there as well?
Yeah, so I went back there and I taught dance to the drama majors.
Okay.
So it was full circle because that was what I grew up doing.
That's what you were
That was
doing.
my department. It was my people. Yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, you got to find something to be able to
Fulfill you.
Yeah, I mean, not only just to get by financially too. Like logistically speaking, you got to make money. So
Yeah.
that was my survival gig. I was loving it. I was teaching. I would travel around teaching Newsies
And you still
stuff
love teaching,
too.
right? I mean, teaching is a big thing for you, no?
Yeah, Lion Arts was you did
Yes,
our program that we did
right,
too.
Right.
So I was teaching a bunch. I loved that as well, and I was working other things. I did the Hairy Ape at Park Avenue Armory. What else? I did like a bunch of.
What's the
It was
Hairy Ape?
a crazy cool production.
Really?
Actually. Yeah, it was,
What was
sick.
It was a musical?
It had music in it, but it was more a play.
Uh-huh.
And it was.
I mean,
don't
Park
even
Ave
know-
Armory is huge.
I don't even know how to describe it. It was a weird play, so cool, so fascinating, and it was just something very different. It was Bobby Cannavale starred in it.
Oh, wow.
It was sick.
Love
so
him.
I did cool things, but like it was not like Broadway. Yes, I did Grease at Paper
Where?
Mill Playhouse.
Oh, you did
that
Grease
was
at Paper
fun.
Mill? Oh, wow.
There was I was still working.
There was still
but
momentum.
It was just it was just different. I was not in a long running show
Right.
until Pretty Woman
Until
came
Pretty
back
Woman.
around,
And
which
Pretty
was
Woman-
3 years later.
I was going to say, so that's like, what, 2018?
That was 2018. Yes.
Yeah. And so then, can you tell the story about how you like the whole thing with the ferry? How you...
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Okay.
So I'm trying to think because I forget the stories all blend together. So I said that I got the call that I booked Newsies. I forget which call came. Oh no, I remember. Okay, I got the call that I was doing that I was gonna do Paper Mill while I was in my parents' kitchen, but I got the call that I was gonna do Broadway for Newsies when I was in the ferry terminal. And the door of the Staten Island ferry terminal, and the doors had just shut in my face. I just missed the boat. I was running for it. Doors shut in my face. I get a phone call from my agents.
I know that all too well.
And they're like,
all too well, like every other day.
Oh yeah. And they're like, surprised you're going to Broadway. And I was like, oh my God, how apropos.
Yeah,
I'm in the
I can wait another 30 minutes.
I know,
for the
and I'm
ferry.
like, I'm in the ferry terminal that I traveled my whole high school life. I took the 6:40 in the morning boat every single day,
Wow.
traveling.
Oh, right.
in.
I didn't even think about that. Right,
Yeah.
with LaGuardia, right.
And then I get the call in that ferry terminal that I'm going to Broadway, and I was like, oh, this is really cool, actually. Like, you gotta. That's what I talk about. Like, if you pay attention to like the signs or just like the way that everything falls into place, there will be, I think, like little signs to just let you know that you're on the right path, and that was one of them for me. And I forget.
For those who don't know, I want to explain because if you're from Staten Island, you're traveling. I mean, for you from Annandale, for me
Yes.
it's much easier now, especially we could walk to the fair here. But like, but you would take the train from the Staten Island train to a couple stops. That was like a half-hour ride though.
Yep.
To the ferry, then take the 25-minute ferry, and then from the ferry take another 25-minute train ride to Midtown.
Yeah,
and that's what you're doing to and from.
Yeah, it's
every
like a
day.
2-hour commute each way, so 4 hours total a day
Yeah,
is
right.
traveling.
It can be, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's rough.
And
But
so then
worth it.
you sit in the ferry for another half hour. That was Newsies, and then with Pretty Woman.
Yeah,
was a
something
similar-
happened with Pretty
it was a
Woman
similar
too.
thing, wasn't
Why do
it?
I feel like Pretty Woman was in the ferry terminal also?
It was something like
I
there
don't
was some sort
remember.
of association. I remember you saying to me some sort of association with the fact that you got the call for Pretty Woman. Either
what
you were
was
coming
it?
back from or something
I
like
actually
that.
think. Wait, I'm actually pretty sure. Yeah, wait. I got the call in the same spot, the ferry terminal again. Yeah, with
For Pretty Woman too.
Thank God, Victoria is she's my best friend. She
Victoria's
literally
sitting
has
here,
the best memory in the world.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I got the call that I booked Pretty Woman, my next Broadway show, in the same freaking spot that I got the call for Newsies. I was freaking out. I was like, in the freaking ferry terminal again? This
There's
is
something
insane.
magical. There's something
I
magical.
gotta just spend every time I go to an audition, I gotta go to the ferry terminal immediately
and just miss it
afterwards.
on purpose.
Yeah,
maybe.
just hang out
Just see
there.
what happens. You know?
Ah, so good.
That's so funny. And so
Yeah.
that was that you booked Chicago because Pretty Woman went to Chicago first.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Right.
But with Pretty Woman, the plan was for it always to go to
of
Broadway.
course, the transfer. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was- I mean, that was a huge property.
Yeah,
that was like
it
a
was.
big
We
deal.
got our Broadway date, or we got our Chicago dates and our Broadway dates right up front.
Wow.
So it was already going.
Wow. Oh, it was going beforehand. Oh, wow.
Like when I signed on, I knew that it was going to Chicago and then definitely Broadway afterwards.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's great.
That's what I mean. Like the difference between
That's a
Newsies and
huge
most
difference.
shows. Like most shows, you kind of know what you're.
You're like,
getting
oh yeah,
yourself
probably,
into.
yeah, right, exactly. It's an out. That's why they call it an out of town
Yeah.
tryout because otherwise it would just be the production.
Yeah.
So talk about your Pretty Woman audition. What did that entail?
Well,
because you were
yeah.
auditioning for Julie. Were you auditioning for Julio? or
Yes.
that was like okay.
So it's funny because again, like there's no right or wrong path. There's no rhyme or reason to how this industry works. Is what I've learned. I'll tell you, like there were so many things that I tried out for in between Newsies and Pretty Woman that I didn't get. That I was heartbroken over.
Right.
The main one that comes to mind, A Bronx Tale. I was like, oh my God, I'm perfect for this. It's
perfect for that show.
It's Staten
Perfect
Island,
for
or
that
it's
show.
New York, it's Bronx,
yeah.
it's me. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Tried out
And that
so
was happening
many
at Paper Mill
times.
first too. Yeah.
Tried out so many times, and I got down to the wire, and I didn't get it. My voice type wasn't the type that they were looking for. So fine, it happens, but like I was crushed. I went in, I think like 8 times for that production.
Wow.
A crazy amount of time,
Wow.
auditions, and just blood, sweat, and tears, quite
Yeah.
literally,
Wow.
went into that production over the course of months.
That's wow.
I tried for Pretty Woman one day. That afternoon, I booked it. 2 hours later.
That afternoon?
2 hours later after
No
my
way.
audition.
And what did you have to do?
I literally went into the audition, did a quick dance call, did a quick little scene work, went to the ferry terminal, got a call, I'm going to Broadway. Like, that's what I mean.
That
like,
is
it's
insane.
insane.
That is
Then
so
I'm like,
crazy.
You had a Bronx Tale where I, like, gave
Really bust
everything
ass.
for,
Yeah, right.
didn't get it, was heartbroken, and
Right.
then Pretty Woman happened that in one day. I woke up that day, had no idea that I was going to get a Broadway offer a couple of hours later.
That's crazy.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating to like look at things when you zoom out and look at things from that perspective.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about working with Jerry Mitchell. And I mean, you're walking into a show that already, like you said, already has all the notoriety. You had Brian Adams doing the music. Like, it was all like, it was kind of set, made for success in that way. Everybody knew the movie.
Yep.
You know, like it was super. So talk about that. And especially, I think what's interesting is in talking about the out of town tryout to Broadway.
Yeah.
Like, talk about what changed. Why is that even necessary? Why do you, what about it is,
Pretty Woman's a funny one because, you know, the honest truth is it didn't do that well. It ran for a year and it's still on tour. Like
Yeah,
it's making money for them. Like you know, it did its job in that regard, but it had potential. Like you said, all the ingredients were there to have a big hit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as big of a hit as it could have been.
Sure.
We don't know why. So much goes
I mean, I
into
will
the
say
behind
it did
the
last
scenes.
like a year. It did.
Yeah.
It went even longer. I think it went longer than a year.
A little
and-
longer than a year, but
Yeah.
like it's Pretty Woman. We had Samantha Barks, Jerry Mitchell, like I mean Brian Adams' music, like
Orfeh. Yeah.
Orfeh. It was a recipe for success, and for some reason, it didn't hit the way that it could have.
Sure.
We don't know why. That's the truth.
Yeah.
There must have been so much going on behind the scenes that I couldn't even begin
Who
to
knows?
understand.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just my,
And for what it's worth, the people who loved that show. I mean, that show was a blast.
I will say,
You know what I mean? Like,
I've done 3 Broadway shows. The only show that I like to go back and listen to the soundtrack for is Pretty Woman.
are you really?
I love that music.
Wow, the Newsies people will hate you for that. They'll attack you for that.
I
We
can't
might
get
have
it.
to cut that
no,
out. even.
it's true. No, keep it in. It's okay. But it's just, it's something about like that Pretty Woman music is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have to sing Anywhere But Here is my favorite song if you don't know it. It's
Anywhere
so
but
good.
Anywhere
It's so
but
beautiful.
Yeah. You are singing
Yeah.
at the Barks. Yeah.
So I had a great time with Pretty Woman. I arguably had an even better time than I did with Newsies.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Because Newsies was amazing. It was the camaraderie. It like it made so many dreams come true. Like, you can't deny that.
Right,
For that reason,
it set the stage.
there's no
for
topping
everything.
it, and for that reason.
Right.
But excuse me.
And it still holds with you to this day. I mean, you just did the Broadway votes thing. And,
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
All the Disney on Broadway
100%.
stuff. It's just like it's like being a part of a community, just being a part of
100%.
Disney on Broadway.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Pretty Woman, there was something about that role and those people and that music.
Yeah.
I never got sick of doing that show.
Yeah.
I loved doing it so much. Oh my gosh.
So, right.
Yeah, it was
Julia.
great.
Yeah.
It was a really fun part. I had a great time.
There's this Pretty Woman happens, and I'm scrolling on my phone one day in the summer, and me and Victoria are in rehearsal for Mamma Mia, and there's a notification that comes up that Tommy's going on Big Brother, and it was like, oh, like, and your headshot is up there and everything, and so I go to text you, and I'm like, oh, congratulations, blah blah blah, and Vic is like, he's already out, he doesn't have his phone anymore. When they announce it, and that's the whole point, right? So that nobody knows the other contestants, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my gosh, because I know that you would love Big Brother, and that was such a big thing. So talk about how that happened, like, because you you're talking a year of Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it was
a little less than a year.
Yeah, I did a little less than a year, but like, oh my gosh, it was a whirlwind of 28 was my peak as far as career goes. Like, I was in Pretty Woman, I did Big Brother, like, I was thriving. I was in the best shape of my life. Yeah. I was feeling so good. I loved that. 2019 was a very good year to me.
Sure.
Big Brother, I think it's similar with shows too. Like, when you go see a show, you see yourself in that Broadway show, and you're like, oh, I see myself in this one.
Right.
You get like a feeling.
Right.
The same thing happened when I watched Big Brother. I watched Big Brother, and I thought, oh, I'm meant to do this one day. Like, I felt it right away. I tried out 4 times before I finally got on. I kept going back and going back and going back. They don't like actors. They don't want actors on their show. They're like,
of course.
We want real people.
Right.
We don't want actors.
Yeah.
I had to keep showing up and let them get to know Tommy, the person, the fan of Big Brother.
Right.
And not look at me like Tommy, the actor. So the more I showed up, the more they like got to know me, and they remembered me. And I was like, I'm back again. This is my favorite show in the world. Yes, I'm an actor. I would be great at this. This is not acting. This is just...
It's a very different bone.
With theater, you have to... You not have to, but you meet a new group, a new cast every project that you do. Right. People from all different walks of life. That's a skill. You learn how to communicate, how to connect with all different kinds of people. That's all Big Brother is. You meet. You're
and when you're talking about out of town trials, people get let go. You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta.
People let go, and you
gotta let them go,
or you might get let go.
I might get let go. So, that's what it was. So I knew I would be good at it. Yeah. And I just saw myself on that show. Yeah. And I was good at it. It was good.
I think so.
Good. I think so.
You did pretty good.
I was good at the game. It was fun. I had a great time. I got to live my dream.
What was the thing that cracked it for you? That, like, what was it that after all the 4 times of doing it, what was it that made you?
I don't know. I think it was timing again. Like, I think that, I mean, there was a whole other layer to this in that but this is so separate, but also it's a separate thing, but yet it also does connect. So my aunt had a girlfriend for like 8 years. Yes. They would break up, get back together, whatever. They moved in together, and then 2 months later broke up. 2 months after that, we both got Big Brother together. Right. But the truth is, I was already on and she wasn't on, and then last minute they not threw her in.
I was going to ask,
last minute
was that intentional?
It wasn't intentional. It was kind of an accident, but it like, just timing wise, you can't make it up. Like, it was just very, very weird kismet.
I was going to say, it's kind of a happy coincidence that did happen, because it created so much other underlying stuff.
Happy for some, not happy for others.
Sure.
But
in that first episode right away, I remember you guys went, and it was like you guys knew each other, and it was
it was crazy. It was insane.
That's so funny.
But yeah, now Christy is still one of my best friends. I love her so much, and it's so much time has passed. It's water under the bridge, but it was a crazy time of course, my life, my family's life. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, wild.
I'm sure, and just to watch you and not necessarily, and not know what's going on here.
No
but
idea.
Also, I mean, we were doing Mamma Mia at the time, me and Victoria. So we would every cast party rehearsal, we were watching it almost live, and you would look at the live feeds in the middle of rehearsal, like, oh, this was how. Oh, it seems like this. Oh, did he just win HOH?
Yeah, right. It's his birthday.
Right, it's his birthday,
Yeah.
and he won HOH. Right, exactly.
He shouted me out in the room. I'm like, this is the best.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was
No,
great.
it's true though. It's
was
true
great.
though, and that was right on your birthday. You won HOH,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
That was amazing.
That's
It
pretty
was-
cool.
I feel very lucky that I got to.
And
do
you were
that.
in there for. I mean, you were what, fourth, right? Fourth.
I got 5th place. I
Fifth
made
place.
it 86 days out of 99, and they only kicked me out because I was too good at the very end.
Well, it was such a thing. I remember when you were the episode that you were being actually. My friend Aiden who was on the pod with me too. He's assistant company management, so he does all that stuff, and he's working on Just in Time now. And I went to his room and we sat and we watched your episode. And I didn't know, I wasn't super active on the live feeds at that point because college had started.
Right.
And so I didn't know if you were going to. And it was so, honestly, up until like what felt like the very end,
Yeah.
it was so, is he going to get
I
evicted
know.
or is he not? Because
Yeah, it was a wild.
it was just a
24
matter of
hours.
like gameplay where it was like, oh, I don't know. He might actually make it through this one. It was just
Yeah.
a matter of convincing.
Yeah, there
until
were
you couldn't
there were
convince
2
anymore.
deciding votes, and the 2 deciding votes essentially decided to keep a showmance in the game over me because they felt so. I mean, not they. One of them felt so threatened by me as an individual player that he was more intimidated by me as an individual player
Than the two of
than
them
the
together.
2 of them together.
Right.
Even though they had won back-to-back competitions.
Right.
Like that particular player, he feared me so much, and we had nothing but respect for each other.
No,
I
no.
feared him too. He was amazing.
He was great at the game.
Yeah. So, but it's flattering. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
you loved me. You thought I was that good that you had to get rid of me over the strongest showmance in maybe arguably Big Brother history. Like,
And it was pretty
I
amazing
will take
too.
it.
You went through the whole season what felt like unscathed. Like you didn't.
Yeah, I
have,
did good.
There
I
wasn't.
did.
There wasn't a whole lot of drama. There
No,
wasn't a whole lot
I
you
was-
really made it through that.
It's
you know,
that
like,
theater. That theater
Yeah.
preps you for that
Yeah.
kind of environment. It really did. I felt like I was right in my wheelhouse when I was in that house because I was like getting to know people, getting to manage relationships, people's feelings. This is what I do on an everyday basis. I
Right.
love this.
Right.
That's how I love to connect with people, communicate with people. So it was truly my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Can you talk about kind of like the isolation of like having
It was
lived
fine.
in the house?
A lot of people struggled.
I mean, we all
didn't
got really
struggle.
accustomed to that really quickly shortly
Yeah,
after we
right,
were all
exactly.
isolated. You know, but
I was okay as long as I have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm not bored. I'm good. Like
Yeah.
literally, you put me in a room with one person. I don't
Yeah.
need a phone. I don't need a game. I don't need anything.
yeah.
I just need to have a person to connect with, and I'm happy. So that's all it was.
I'm sure you've been asked this like a million times. What would you say is the one thing, if you could pick one thing to do differently, what would you do differently now?
With Big Brother
With
or
Big
just, I don't know. Like
I mean,
honestly,
it's such a serious web. Everything's so intertwined with
Yeah.
that show and that season.
Yeah, they cut the feeds, so much was cut out of the last 24 hours that I was in the house. Because, like you said, it was very back and forth. Like, is he going to get evicted? Is he not? It was really
I genuinely,
close.
I didn't think you were. I thought they were gonna keep you. I really did.
Until 5 minutes before
Right.
I was staying.
Right.
And then 5 minutes, not even, actually, literally in that moment, where they, the Big Brother's on the intercom in the house saying, you all have to go sit down right now. We're on live television. Go sit down. So I'm like, all right, I go sit down. The 4 of them, because it's the showmance. They were pulling the other pair to the side, saying, trying to convince them.
Right.
Last second, they convinced them. They switched again.
Crazy.
But
So
there was
crazy.
nothing. So like,
And
there
they
was
really got duped
nothing,
at the end because at the end of the day they won.
I know.
And then it was like a.
There was nothing that I could have
Crazy.
done differently. Like maybe I
Right.
could have stood up on live television, like and said, "I know that you have your format. I know that you have
Yeah.
whatever." That there's a structure to this, but you can't go to a commercial break yet because I have to talk. And like
Who knows?
maybe I could have
Who
done
knows?
that,
Yeah.
but like. You can't go against Big
can't.
Brother. Like
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
a structure to their
Right,
show.
right.
Like you're in Hollywood.
Right,
like you
right,
can't
right.
mess with that. So I don't know what I could have done different, honestly.
People in college during Big Brother used to call me like a mini Tommy, and I was like, maybe it's a Staten Island thing. I was like, I'm
That's so
honored.
nice.
But I was like, maybe it's a Staten Island thing.
We do have the eczema bond too.
I was-
There is that.
But It is
That is
true.
very sweet.
We do have the eczema bond. The eczema bond was a big thing because I remember being like, "What do you mean you did Broadway and you were sweaty and had eczema?" I was like,
Yeah.
"How'd you not itch?" Like I had so many questions. Were you red doing the show? You know, like can
I was.
Tell me what you-
I was really red.
Yeah, right. And then you figured it out, and then you spread the knowledge to me, and now we
Yes.
share the same dermatologist.
Shout out Dr. Kaza.
Dr. Kaza.
Dead.
So, Big Brother, I know you got this question too, and I think I know your answer. Would
Okay.
you do it again?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you would.
Yes.
Yeah, and you did the challenge subsequently too.
I
which
did.
was a
I did
big
the
deal.
challenge. That was fun. It was crazy.
Different,
cool
but-
chapter. Different.
Yeah.
Very similar to Big Brother, but yet it goes back to like when you see yourself in something. I never saw myself in the challenge.
Sure.
And therefore, it wasn't
wasn't
for
as
me.
successful.
It wasn't for me.
Sure, sure,
Wasn't as successful, but also I just didn't feel it. Like
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
didn't.
You had fun. It was still a great
I had a great
experience. Like,
time.
that's the
I went to Argentina with my best friend. I got to hang off of a building. It was amazing.
Yeah, that is
so
amazing.
I was very, very grateful that I did it. Would even do that again if it worked out.
getting onto it, yeah.
But not Big Brother. Big Brother's different.
Yeah.
Big Brother, sign me up. I'll
Yeah.
leave tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's
right.
okay.
It has a special place in your heart. different
Yeah, it
place in your
does.
heart. Okay, so talk to me about after Big. I mean, we have COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna skip past that. We're gonna move to Heart of Rock and Roll.
Yes.
Because that was also a huge thing, and I have a lot of questions about Heart of Rock and Roll because you had told me that Heart of Rock and Roll was a different experience. This is now like something like 10 years after Newsies, and yeah, talk to me about how Heart of Rock and Roll, how you booked it, and then I have some specific stuff too.
How did I book Hard Rock and Roll? Again, it was quick. It was dance in the room, do a callback session, do scene work, and it was quick. Loved Hard Rock and Roll. Had a great time. Loved those people. It felt so good to like just get my feet wet again. It had been at that point years again since I had done a consistent Broadway
you
show.
left 2019 and then 2024, so like 5 years.
5 years.
Wow,
5
that's
years.
so crazy.
Yep.
Wow, but it was
It was
loved Heart
COVID
of Rock and
years.
Roll.
It was different.
I loved
Yeah.
Heart of Rock and Roll. Like
Yeah, me too. It was good.
So short lived and just
Yeah.
like happenstance. You never know. But gosh, those were. But I remember you telling me, and I want you to speak toward this because you mentioned it with Newsies too, how to make it past injury when you're talking about. Especially because you had mentioned with Heart of Rock and Roll that you were experiencing different things,
Yeah.
just being a different age.
Yeah,
Like
I was
just-
older. I was hurt. My body was hurting more. It was just different. You just got to like pay more attention to the recovery of it all. When I was doing Newsies, I would eat whatever the hell I wanted.
Sure.
I would come in and my warm up was literally kick, back handspring and kick, back handspring and kick. And I would just do this like 10, 20 times, like in a row. I wasn't doing that with Heart of Rock and Roll.
Sure,
I was
sure,
coming
sure.
in, warming up, stretching. It was a much more, it was a bigger time commitment, but also just more of a commitment with my body and like what I was capable of doing. I had to build myself up. And Lauren Lataro's choreography is so deceiving because it is extremely difficult to do.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's easy almost. Like it has this way. I love her choreo because it doesn't look like it's too hard.
Yeah.
But it is very difficult.
Right,
She
right.
choreographs very tough, which I love. It was
I
great.
remember going in for the dance call for Heart of Rock and Roll, and it was a half hour, and they taught us the combo in 10 minutes, and I was like,
Yeah.
it was the bubble wrap. That's what we did for the dance call, and I
Mm-hmm. Yep.
remember being like, oh my god.
No, that was nuts.
It was
I know.
so nuts.
I know.
It was so nuts and so fast. And then when I saw
Yep.
it and that you guys were doing it on bubble wrap,
Yeah.
I was like, I was stunned.
It was pretty crazy. It was
Yeah.
a good show. It really
It was so fun. It was so
It was a
funny.
great
And
show.
Mackenzie Kurtz was like I
Amazing.
thought she should have gotten a Tony nom. She was
Agreed.
so good. So was Corey. And,
know.
and our dearest John was in it too with you.
Yeah.
With
Love him.
Newsies again. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I loved
Yeah.
that show.
It was a good one. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. I want you
Yeah.
to talk about this move. This is a big thing, and I can't remember what it's called, but you've done it in every Broadway show.
I know
you know
exactly
the one
what
I'm talking
movie.
about.
So good at
Okay.
that.
Because you're doing Julio, and all of a sudden you come flying in like 3D, and you're doing this front handspring that you land in like this pike.
Thanks.
You know, like
Yep.
what is it called?
It's called the Rose Plop.
Rose Plop.
So that production, that move, that flip, was taught to me by Connor Gallagher,
Oh, wow.
who's a choreographer
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
that was when I did Beauty and the Beast on tour. It was my first professional job. I was the tumbling carpet.
Yes.
I had to learn that move
For
that show.
Oh, wow.
That was in the original production of Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, and then they brought it back to the tour.
And
Connor choreographed Beauty and the Beast, the tour,
Wow.
and was also the carpet on Broadway for Beauty and the Beast. So I learned that move from him, and I have put it in every single show that I've done since.
Amazing.
Whenever a choreographer comes up to me and they're like, "What tricks do you have?" I'm like, "I got this
Check
one."
this one out.
And then they're like, "Yes, put that in." So it just happens. But
Yeah.
I have yet to do a show where I don't put the
Didn't
Rose
do it.
Plop in.
Right.
I love
that,
it.
I think that it's
I
like,
love
it's like
it.
a staple. You should trademark it.
No, I know.
No one else should be able to do it.
I always say to Connor, I'm like, "Thank you so much for teaching me that move when I was 18. You've got me so many jobs."
It's really hard. I mean, you're talking about.
it's
I remember
great.
doing it and being like, "Is his cover gonna do that?"
I know,
Because
yeah.
that's like a whole thing. The Rose Plop. Or
Yeah, Rose Plop.
Rose Plop.
It's a front handspring, but you land in a pike position on the floor. Yeah.
Right. But what it looks like almost is that you landed in like this split where you like hit your
Boom.
head on the ground. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
what
know,
it looks like.
I know.
It just looks like you just like bend
Yeah.
in half. Like it's pretty funny.
But I was 34 years old, still doing it.
Still doing
It
the
was
Rose
good.
Plop and hard
Yeah.
rock and roll. When I
8
saw it,
shows
I
a
was like,
week.
"Oh my God, there it is!" I
Yeah.
was like, "He did it still."
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got your own
I was
song.
proud about that.
What was it
Yes,
called? You
I
cracked me
did.
up?
Yeah,
Oh,
you cracked me
you
up.
cracked me up.
It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It was fun. Very fun.
I love that show. And now
Thanks.
you just got done doing Titanique.
Yeah, I did Titanique. It was so much fun. I loved it.
Did you know it beforehand? Did you see Titanique before?
I did. I saw that show, and
And
again,
that was
I
your first
saw
time
myself
stepping
in
into a
it.
show, right?
Yes, it was. It was
Yeah.
very challenging because, you know, the team for Titanique was so great in that they let me bring myself to it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're not creating the role, and I'm kind of used to that at this point. I'm spoiled. I'm very lucky that you know, it's one thing to make it to Broadway, but then it's another thing to do an original Broadway company, to be a part of an original Broadway company. And I've gotten to do that 3 times. Like,
Yeah, what a
that's
blessing. Yeah.
unfreaking real.
Yeah.
I know this. I know that I'm spoiled. It was tough to go into Titanique and be plugged into the show. Okay, now you walk here. Now you walk here. This is the intention for this line. It's all decided for you.
Yeah.
And I like to create it myself and create something that feels good on my body. And the team was very flexible. They were really good. I voiced to them that, like, I want to bring my own stamp to this, and I got to dance a little bit because of that, which was awesome. I had a great time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I did it for 6 months.
What is that rehearsal process like? Well,
It was
how
quick.
different? Right.
It was very quick. I rehearsed for about I think it was like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. Learned the show. Then I had no rehearsal for 10 days after those 4 days, and then I opened the show.
Wow.
And then I went right in. So it was literally 4 or 5 days of rehearsal. I think it was 4 days. Actually, it might have even been 3. 3 or 4 days of rehearsal, 10 days off, opening night.
Wow.
It was weird. It was
That is
crazy.
fast.
I also started the day after Heart of Rock and Roll closed.
Right.
The timing of it all was crazy.
That was your
Again, we'll
2024.
talk about timing.
2024 was.
Yep. 2019 was a good year for me. So was 2024.
Yeah,
It was
right,
great.
right.
I was a little burnt out though by the end of the 6 months.
Sure.
Like, I was just like, I'm getting married in April, and I just feel like I want to like sit in this chapter and enjoy the wedding planning process
Right.
because you only get married once and it flies by. So I wanted to really enjoy the wedding planning process.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I left. I left a month ago, Titanique.
Right.
And I don't know how I would have put this wedding together if I didn't.
If you were in the show.
Honestly.
Right.
If
Well, I
I
thought
was in
about
the
that was
show.
Heart of Rock and Roll. I was like, if that show could have gone that same run.
Yeah,
Too, you know, who knows?
that would have
You know,
been that would have been tough to navigate too. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm very. It's been a good year.
So this
for
is a
me.
big thing. Wedding. You're getting married. I'm getting married too. Eventually, not.
I was like,
not.
what the-
Just
I
eventually.
don't know this.
No. Just eventually. One day, maybe.
Yes.
Oh, hopefully. We'll
Yeah.
see. But so give me your tips. What is the key to your perfect wedding? I mean, and that's what I mean by that, is
Yes.
like your perfect wedding.
You know, it's so fun. It's like putting on a show. It's literally
Right.
like directing
Yeah,
a show.
right.
And that's the way I'm thinking about it. You're choreographing it, you're directing it, you're doing the costumes, you're doing the lighting, you're doing the set design, you're doing the sound. You are literally putting on a show
Right.
from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
And it's really fulfilling.
You were born for this. You were made
I'm
for
having
this.
a great time. I'm
And
very,
hopefully it's the only
very
time you'll
happy.
have to do it.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. But it's amazing. What am I excited for? I'm excited to marry Joey as my fiance. I can't wait to
Yeah.
marry him. I love him. And I'm excited to create a day that's authentic to us. And yeah, that's authentic to us. I'll leave it at that, because it's not just about doing what everyone does. We're really trying to get creative with it.
Right.
And we have but just like we've found each other. This team of vendors that we've assembled, we each found each other. And I'm so grateful to be working with them.
And I know some of them. It's like the Avengers. Like
no,
you
it's
have like
it's
literally
amazing.
Like the best people.
We are so freaking lucky. Our vendors, I'm obsessed with every single one of them. Most of them are from Staten Island. I love that.
Right.
It's great. It's great. We're really, really lucky. But it's truly like putting on building a show.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. That's so exciting.
I can't wait.
Okay, we both share that we're from Staten Island. We've talked about Staten Island a lot. I want to ask.
We've talked about the eczema. We both have that in common.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Let me check. If you're taking somebody to Staten Island, which I know you've taken many people to Staten Island.
Love this question.
What is your Staten Island tour? What are the okay, no, today I got to show you this, and we got to go here, and we got to go there.
All right.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth between.
Even your Staten Island date. How did you show Joey Staten Island? Had he ever been?
That's a funny question.
Is it really?
So our first date was an Italian restaurant by him. Our second date, he in Staten Island, and I took him to Oriental Plaza.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, don't say it like that, because that was crazy that I pulled
is
that
so
move.
funny.
Oriental Plaza has been there for like 50 years.
A million years,
The carpets have never changed. It is a dirty, hole-in-the-wall Chinese food place. It's so good. They have the best food. I don't care what it looks like.
It's safe
I wanted to
enough.
have the wedding there because I don't care about that stuff, like
Right,
what
right.
it looks like, whatever. Like, the carpets are disgusting in there, but the food, you can't beat it. It's so good. So, Oriental Plaza is right.
And what was his impression? What was
He loved it. He loved it. He's good. He's go with the flow.
Clearly you're getting married. So.
Yeah. He must have loved it.
Yeah. You guys should go there like the day after.
Yeah. I'm not kidding. I tried to have the wedding there. I tried to have the day after the wedding there. No, I literally did. I'm not even exaggerating. I swear to God. I'm a crazy, insane, psychopathic person. I really am. I am.
So you're giving somebody a Staten Island tour. Well, aside from Oriental Plaza.
Yeah. But we're not going to do Oriental Plaza. We're going to stick with the pizza, Italian
that's
food,
maybe
whatever.
the second date. It's better for the second date.
So I rotate between Danino's and Pizza Giove are my two favorite pizzerias.
I've never been
in
to
Staten
Pizza
Island.
Giove.
Oh my God. You have to go, and you're going to freak out.
Really?
The Vario Pinto pizza is my favorite pizza that they have. It's unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
Insane.
Yum. What is it?
A white pie with zucchini and prosciutto. Oh my God, it's sickening. And it's got like a bechamel sauce, and it's just like disgustingly amazing. Amazing.
Incredible.
So you got to go to Pizza Giove.
Yes.
And Danino's is literally
Danino's,
a no-brainer.
Down the
Danino's
block.
is a
Yeah,
staple.
Of course,
yes.
Danino's is a staple.
The fried galamad, the wings, the pizza. It's literally my favorite place in the world.
I think so too.
So those are my. And then we're gonna finish it off. Or we're gonna stop at Ralph's.
Yes,
Ices,
of course. Of course.
And then we're gonna finish the night off in my mother's kitchen.
What's your Ralph's order? In your mother's kitchen?
In my mother's kitchen, hanging out, playing games. Yeah.
What's your Ralph's order? What do you get?
Watermelon and blue.
Watermelon and blue.
What's yours?
Well, I do graham cracker and crazy coconut.
So good.
Yeah, graham cracker doesn't sound like it'd be good, but it's actually the best.
No, graham cracker is amazing, but the crazy coconut, I'm not sold on. That sounds
really?
You're
not a coconut person?
Not really.
Oh man, I got the coconut macaroons. Now I know. Crossing off the coconut.
No, I'm sorry. I'll eat them. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I love coconut.
Yeah, he's taking it back now. Now he loves crazy coconut.
I love that flavor.
He's crazy for crazy coconut. Okay. Give me. These are now going to be like a little bit of like lightning round questions. Then I have a funny little thing to do for you. So
because we'll go on all day.
I know. We literally
you have
could.
to make it a lightning round.
I know, and you have to get married, so we have to finish this sometime. So give me your. I've been asking everybody this. Your dream guest for me.
Ooh.
Someone that you want to sit in this chair.
Carol Lindsay or Mackenzie Kurtz.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
That'd be great.
I love the both of them.
They're amazing. Oh my
love
God, love them
of
both.
And Mackenzie just did Schmigadoon, which is just so perfect.
So cool.
So
did you by any chance see her TikTok? It was like the crossover between Schmigadoon and Euphoria.
I did. I just saw it. I just saw it. It was
I watched
really funny.
it 6 times.
It was so funny. She just posted that.
Obsessed.
Yeah, I know. That was brilliant.
So good.
That was brilliant.
Perfect. She's so funny and smart.
She is. She was
Lightning.
She was brilliant in that show. No, she was brilliant in that show too. She was
I know.
great in
I
that
would
show.
have loved to see Schmigadoon. Yeah.
Oh well, I didn't
you
see
meant Hard Rock and Roll.
I mean Hard Rock and Roll.
Got it. Yes.
I mean, hopefully we will get to see Schmigadoon. Hopefully that will transfer.
Hopefully
that's an out of
that'll be
transfer.
great.
And then she'll come and sit in this chair.
Yeah.
Okay, give me your dream show / dream role. It doesn't have to be the same thing. But
Lion King is the dream role, playing Timon.
Lion
Following
King is Timon.
in Nathan Lane's footsteps.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be lovely.
One day, would
You
love
heard?
to do that. And the
Are they
other
listening?
dream role. But here's my psychopathic, insane, crazy brain. This is the way it works. I want to be Timon in the Lion King, so that way I can do. It's a Disney show. Then I can be asked to be on Dancing with the Stars when I'm like 50. That's my dream. I have to become big enough to. I don't really need to be famous. I don't care about that stuff. I only want to be famous enough to be on Dancing with the Stars. That's it.
Right.
It's my dream.
Just
I
famous
gotta be
enough
on
for
that
Dancing
show.
with the Stars.
The way that like I watch Big Brother and said I see myself in that. I'm obsessed with Dancing with the Stars. I see myself on it. So like I have to become famous just so I can be on
Just to
Dancing
be
with the
on
Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
And then I will just go into hibernation and retire. But
I
like,
have to ask you, like, who's your favorite pro on Dancing with the Stars? Who's your have you been
Daniela.
watching Dancing
Daniela's
with
amazing.
Daniela?
She's obviously the best. But
Yeah.
Riley, Ezra.
Wait, is Danielle from Danielle's from Staten Island, isn't she?
Yes.
Danielle's
yeah.
from Staten Island. Yeah. That's
Riley, Ezra is so freaking good.
why. Riley, yeah.
How
How long have you been? Did you watch like the old, like the Max and Karina?
Yes and no. I went back and
Okay.
watched things, but I really got into it like 5 years ago, something
Okay,
like that.
okay. Because now it's a cult. I've been watching that show since before I was
Yes,
born.
I know. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
give me like a highlight. Dancing with the Stars. What was that? Oh, that was that moment. That was the moment. Dancing with the Stars.
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh, you know what it was? Who was Daniela partners with when they did the Yeah, Iman. Oh, Aman. Oh my god, obsessed with it was what was that Jordan Peele movie? The Jordan Peele
Us. Yes.
She did the piece from Us. They did
Yeah.
the piece from Us. That I was like, oh, this
Brilliant.
is this is sick. I actually literally have the chills talking about it right now.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Obsessed.
If you ever watch, my favorite was when Mark was on and he was on
Yes.
consistently, and he would.
He's good too. I like
come
him.
up with the most brilliant, and he had Sadie from Duck Dynasty.
Okay.
And she would do. They did this one. There's a couple of them, but I'm like, they did this one that was Adam and Eve, and it was so beautiful. It was. They did that, and then they did Super Mario Brothers too. They did one that was
Oh,
Super
cool.
Mario. It was so just so creative. Mark and what's funny about Super Mario Brothers? What's funny about Super Mario Brothers? Adam and Eve and Super Mario Brothers. There's two of my favorite
They go
things.
together.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same story even. If you look at it, I'm sure there's some biblical something in the Mario Brothers. There's gotta be. But yeah, no, so yes, Dancing with the Stars. Big fans of Dancing with the
Yeah.
Stars in this household. I'm manifesting Timon for you.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm like,
Yes.
they're listening. I know they are.
Yeah.
I know they are.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is what I'm interested in about state of the industry stuff. Where do you see Broadway now? What do you see on Broadway that you're like, oh, I'm obsessed with that. I really love that this is pivoting in that direction. And what do you want for Broadway?
You know what? I will say I loved Back to the Future on Broadway. I thought
Yeah.
it was such a great show. I feel like, listen, the
I
truth
love that.
is,
My myopia is my
yes,
utopia.
so
Yeah.
good. Here's the thing, like times are changing. It's 2025, and people are on their phones. We have TikTok.
Right.
Entertainment is so much more accessible now than it was 40 years ago, whatever, like back in the Broadway heyday. And I just think that we need to adapt with the times a little better. I think Back to the Future did a great job of doing that.
I loved it.
I
yeah.
thought it was
I liked it
great
a lot.
choreo, great music, great story, and the set took it to another level.
Yeah.
I gotta say, like, I'm sorry, but I need a little bit more of a set. I need a spectacle in 2025.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna keep my attention, sure, but I just don't. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me. Like,
Sure.
I'm an extra person. I'm more of a Moulin Rouge person.
Sure.
Back to the Future person. I'm excited for Stranger Things.
Yeah. I was going to
So-
say, what are you most looking forward to that's coming?
Yeah, Stranger Things. I'm
Stranger
really
Things.
excited for that. I think
Yeah,
it's
me
going to
too.
be great.
Me too.
And I just feel like we need to reinvent Broadway and bring something that we haven't seen before. And there's a reason why all these shows are closing. They're not great. That's the truth. Like, there's something great about them, but
Sure.
if you're looking at it like a business, what makes this so different and exciting than other things that have existed
Sure.
already? Like,
Sure.
we need it to. We
Innovate.
need to keep it fresh. We
Yeah.
need to innovate.
Sure.
And I just feel like people are getting lazy. They're not as creative. They're looking at it like a business. And that is a whole other side to it. That
It is a big thing.
Exists and needs to exist.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. That's
Well,
the
but
truth.
I'll tell you what. When we were in Lion Arts, Orphe came and she told me this thing, and it still resonates with me because I think my perspective on it has changed. And she was like, "I want you all to know, as much fun as you're having, as much as this is meant to be a play. We're playing.
Yeah.
It's also a job." And
Yeah.
I was like. And at the time, I remember thinking like, I remember being like, oh, like that kind of puts like a damper on the party of it. And now I look at it, I'm like, oh no, it's a job, and like you're supposed to love your job. You know, like I'm like, and you can still love your job and know like this is what I'm doing for a living. This is what I'm doing because there are people that are relying on this. I mean, you look at like we talked about the machine that was Newsies, or Pretty Woman, you know. And then unfortunately, what happens when it's not as much of a machine with Hard Rock and Roll, where it's just like all these happenstance business type things,
totally
that don't work in the same. It's a puzzle piece.
Doesn't work.
It's just a puzzle in that.
It's unfortunate, but it's happening a lot. Like
it is happening a lot.
I just feel like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, believer, whatever. To me, it's very important to me for people to take accountability in their everyday lives, in smaller settings as individual relationships. Yeah. But also, you could think big scale with that too. Like your show closed. Why? Right. How come? Why do you think it closed? Like
right.
I'm not going to call shows out because
no.
There's good things to every show. I'm not saying that. And I want shows to run.
Of course.
But I just think we got to get a little bit more creative, and we got to be smart about this. We got to be like risk takers. Like, I don't know. I need to see something different, inventive, fresh, big, new. And I just feel like we're not seeing that. And that's why we're seeing Broadway struggle. Sure. It's that mixed with the fact that like, ever since COVID, tourists aren't really coming to New York the same way that they were. Right. And New York has still It's still coming.
It's still coming. Luckily, last year was a very good year. Last year was definitely the best year since. And then the strikes.
There was a lot going on in the entertainment industry that like has kind of really changed the industry as a whole, Broadway included. And I just think that people need to get a little bit smarter when it comes to. Sure. I think that wasn't even a real sentence. They have to get more smarter.
They have to go more smarter when they want to do.
How ironic. Yeah, I'm like, you got to get more smarter, everyone. But like, I just think like I'm not impressed. I'm sorry. I'm really not. I need more. I need more from you guys. Funny enough, I need Back to the Future. That I loved it. I really did. I loved it.
You're taking risks right now on this podcast.
I know. I'm all the hot topics.
Right.
Hot takes.
But I understand what you mean. And luckily, like on a bright side, you're seeing like Broadway be like thriving right now, and it's doing the best it's done all pandemic, since the pandemic. Luckily, in terms of in terms of like money.
Their shows are opening, but they're closing.
Yeah.
They're not lasting. That's the truth. It's unfortunate, but I just think that we got to be more. I think here's what I'm really trying to say. I think we're missing the passion. Sure. A lot of times I'm walking in a room or it seems like the buzz behind these projects, it's not people that like worked for years to create this thing. It's almost like they created it to make money. And if you are creating a show to make money, it's not going to work. You need to create it because you believe in the magic of it. And I just feel like we're kind of missing that in the industry right now.
Sure. Yeah. I want to ask you after... in this last portion of what we're doing, what would you say to this day is the most interesting, the thing that interests you the most about what you do? What is the thing that still inspires you to want to do it?
Ooh, it's changed because I might getting emotional, but like it's a very self-serving industry. We do this because the truth is we like the attention. Like we like being on stage. We like people clapping for us, reassuring us. Like, let's be realistic. Let's like look right in the mirror and like call it out how it is. We like attention. That's why we're performers. We like, it's a relationship. It was like that moment on Big Brother where you're sitting.
We're
attention whores.
You're attention whores.
But that's the truth. Like it's a beautiful relationship, a performer with the audience. Yeah. And I always say like, it is a relationship. When the audience is clapping loud and giving us energy, we have more to give. It's a give and a take. Right. It's doing
what
8
job
shows
do
a
you
week.
finish it and then you get applause? You know?
Yeah, no, it's like good job.
Good
Like,
job. You did the job.
Think about babies. Babies get so excited when people applaud for them.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same
right,
thing,
right.
literally. Like, we
Because-
are literally
yeah.
overgrown babies on stage playing.
We're all big overgrown babies. That
It's
should be
crazy.
the tagline of the episode. We're all big overgrown babies.
So, we're just playing on stage, and it's a relationship. I love that relationship. Like,
Yeah.
it might sound a little, I don't know what it sounds, but like, I'm like, I love the attention. But the truth is, I love being in that role it's that we're exchanging energy is the more sophisticated way to put it. Or
We'll
more
erase
elevated
everything
way.
you just said. We're just exchanging energy.
We're just exchanging energy,
That's
and I
all
think
we're
it's
doing.
a beautiful thing. But there's a new layer to it now.
Mm-hmm.
As I get older, like something that's fueling me is like I want to do a show for my nieces. Joey has his 2 nieces that I am marrying into the family, and they become my nieces. I'm obsessed with them.
How old
I
are they?
love them. They're 3 and 7. So, or 2 and 7? Oh my God, I don't know. That's terrible. But 3 and no, she's 6 turning 7. Yeah, Mia's still. She's turning 7 in March. Yeah. So she's turning 7. I did say 7, but she's turning 7. She's 6.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm obsessed with them, and I would love to be able to do a show for them one day. Like that's the thing that's fueling me at this point. Like getting to like perform for them, and then they could say like,
them
"Oh my
seeing
God,
you
that's
in
my
the-
uncle
that's
doing
so
that."
great.
Like,
yeah, that's so cool.
and I get to share that with them. So I'm dying to do like a Disney show for them
Yeah.
or something.
Something that they could come see.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's something that's fueling me, and like
And
even
in general, inspiring a younger generation. It's
yes,
like a
of
big-
course,
it's a big
of
thing.
course. I really don't take that lightly. Like,
I think that's why you love teaching so much too.
I do. I love teaching.
Yeah.
I really do, and that's exactly right. That's a huge reason why I do social media too. It's because I love connecting with youth, specifically LGBTQ plus youth, and inspiring them and inspiring even their parents. Like,
Yeah.
I get so many messages from parents, and they're like, my daughter just came out of the closet. Like, I love seeing you live a traditional, normal life, a lot of them say.
Sure,
and they
sure,
don't
sure.
mean anything by it when
No,
they
no,
talk
no.
like
It's
that.
just
But
it's just a vernacular thing.
it's just like, it's very sweet to me that like I can be that example and inspire parents and families and kids, or youth that are like young adults rather, coming
Yeah.
into their own. And I take that responsibility. Like it's something that I treasure. So
Yeah.
that's a big reason why I do it too.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
But like, there's the side of me
Of
that's
course.
like, also I like the attention.
Yeah,
like
of
I like when
course.
people clap for me.
Of course,
So it's
yeah,
a little
right.
bit like,
Can we all?
it's
Can we
both.
all? Can we all? There you go.
Wow. Now I'm
No, but yeah,
embarrassed.
no. No, I put you on the spot there. Okay, now I'm gonna put you on the spot again because
Okay.
there's a segment that we do on this podcast, and since the podcast is called "I Want to Be Like You,"
Mm-hmm.
this segment is called "AI Want to Be Like You." Okay, yeah,
weird.
ominous. So have you played with AI at all?
Yeah.
Have you played with In and Out with
Used
ChatGPT
ChatGPT in my
Okay.
day.
Okay, great. So I asked ChatGPT to create a reality TV show scene for the two of us to read.
No way.
And the show. So here's your script.
What?
So the show is called The House of Hustle. Okay, and it's 12 contestants. Mix of performers, athletes, and big personalities who must outplay, outsmart, and outshine each other through a series of mind games, betrayals, and over-the-top challenges, okay? What makes this show different, you ask? Theatrical confessionals, over-the-top challenges, and secret alliances and betrayals. Why Tommy Bracco? Tommy is the perfect contestant for this kind of show. I didn't write this. AI did, okay? He's charismatic,
That's fucked up.
emotional.
You should have written it about me.
I
No,
should have.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He's charismatic, emotional, physically strong, and hilariously dramatic.
Yes.
He thrives in high energy environments, but his emotions get him into trouble.
It's like AI knows me. This is
That's
so
a little
crazy.
weird, I know. He's the kind of player who will promise loyalty, get betrayed, react like it's a full Shakespearean tragedy, and then immediately forgive someone if they make him pasta.
Whoa. I just got read.
So I will
AI
say,
read me for filth.
yeah,
just now.
right. So what's funny is that after that, AI asked, would you like to know more about Tommy's career or personal life? I was like, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna. I don't.
This is great.
So interior beach house kitchen 19. You're Tommy.
Okay.
And
I'm Tommy. Yes.
I'm Lexi.
Okay. Amazing.
Okay. So.
I can't get over
Tommy
this.
stands in front of the fridge, aggressively eating a spoonful of peanut butter, which that's a little off.
That's a little off, AI. I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll change that to something
So
else.
we'll
but-
start there.
Yeah, right. That's
You're off to a bad start, AI.
yeah. But so eating it straight from the jar. Lexi walks in, already bracing herself. Okay, just say it. Tommy dramatically drops the spoon into the sink, swirls around. Oh, no, it's okay. Go.
I got too into character.
Yeah. A little excited.
Okay.
Tommy dramatically drops the spoon into the sink, whirls around, and points at her like she just insulted his mother.
Oh, you want me to say it? You betray me. You lie to me. You make a deal with the one person that I cannot stand. And now you want me to start.
And now you're doing a confessional straight to the camera.
Yes. First of all, I need everyone to understand something. I am dramatic, okay? So when I say betrayal, I mean betrayal. Like Julius Caesar, but make it reality TV.
Tommy, I didn't betray you. I made a game move.
Tommy lets out a loud, offended laugh, pacing the kitchen like he's giving a Broadway monologue. A game move. Oh, okay, Lexi. Let me tell you what else is a game move. Me coming for you next.
I mean, he's mad now, but give him 5 minutes and a snack and we'll be fine.
Cut back to Tommy, still pacing, muttering to himself like a full-on Italian grandma in distress. Unbelievable. Bring her in. I trust her. I say, Lexi, you're my girl, my day one. And she turns around and makes a deal with Snakey McSnakeface. Nah, I gotta sit down. This is crazy.
You done? Confessional back to Tommy.
No.
Here, eat this and chill.
Tommy glares at her for 3 full seconds. Then, without breaking eye contact, he takes the cookie and takes a bite.
Oh my God. The commitment. No, he's not. Oh my God.
You wanted drama.
Wow.
Listen, I am still mad. Yes, that cookie did help. Also, yes.
Cut back to the kitchen. Tommy sighs dramatically, pushing his hair back, then throws up his hands in defeat.
Fine, I forgive you. But only because I can't stay mad on an empty stomach.
Yeah, I know. I'll make you pasta tomorrow.
And just like that, all is forgiven because let's be real, Lexi's pasta, worth it.
Boom!
Scene.
Hey, I want to be like you, baby.
Thank you
Oh,
so
wow,
much.
look at that. Producer Kirsten. Wow, that
I was
so
gonna
good.
swallow the paper. I used to eat paper when I was a kid, like as a dare. Like, why did I do that? But now I'm having flashbacks. I literally haven't thought of this in like 15 years. But I would literally, like, I would eat my gum wrappers.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, my place used to eat paper too.
You would eat. Would you
Yeah.
take the gum out of the wrapper and then eat the wrapper, or you would just eat the wrapper?
So it was Orbit gum, and I guess I heard, like, I read on the internet. No, it's so weird, I know, but I think I read on the internet or like just heard a rumor that you could eat Orbit with the wrapper on, and so I would do it.
Yeah.
But it tasted like shit. Like, it
Yeah,
was,
no,
the paper wouldn't disintegrate. It was literally just part of the gum.
Oh,
so
wow.
you really couldn't do it, but I did it anyway.
Well, okay, we all have those things. When I was a kid, I used to eat like the little eraser shavings.
That's
Weird.
fucked up.
Okay, yeah. That's what I knew. It wasn't that. I didn't do it for that long.
Just kidding.
Um,
That's funny.
You both have eczema.
Yeah, that's why we
Yeah,
both
that's
have
why
eczema.
eczema.
That could be the
We're
link.
eating erasers and paper.
And paper. Yeah. Okay, my last question, Tommy, is when you started this podcast, we asked you who your I want to be like you as a kid was. Now, who is your I want to be like you now? It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be someone in your life, someone,
My parents.
your parents.
My parents, yeah. I
Aw.
love them.
They set the
I would love to
stage.
be like them, yeah. They're perfect. They're great.
They set the stage. They set the table.
Yeah, they did. Quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents. Easy.
Lovely.
Easy.
That's the best.
And Nathan Lane.
And like, Tommy Bracco, Tommy.
Love ya.
Thank you so much. Love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll see you later. I Want to Be Like You with Elbi Cespedes is produced by Elbi and Christian Cespedes. Special thanks to Angelina Cespedes, Ina Cespedes, Kirsten Blue Kaiser, Victoria Navarino, and of course, Tommy Bracco.